So this video is going to go through an example of a problem involving traveling in different time zones. So when we're looking at calculating the time between two different locations, there's two methods that we can use depending on the information that we have. We can use our GMT or UTC time zones when we get a value of the time zone, whether it's going to be plus or minus based on our original 0 location. So if it's plus, it's going to be ahead. If it's minus, it's going to be behind that original 0 time zone. That then enables us to work out the differences between two different locations. The other method that we can use, if we know the longitude of both of the locations, we can work out what the difference in the longitude is, and we can apply our formula of 1 degree of longitude is going to equal to 4 minutes. So there's our two methods of being able to calculate different times in different locations. So let's have a look at how we can apply this to time and travel to be able to solve a problem. So in the example, we have Dimitri who's in Athens, and Athens is 2 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time, or GMT. Alan is in New York, which is 5 hours behind our Greenwich Mean Time. So here they're giving us the time zones, but they're not specifically telling us it's +2 and -5. They're telling us how many hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time of our GMT time. So we should make a note that Athens is going to be 2 hours ahead, so that's +2, whereas New York is 5 hours behind, so it's going to be -5, because that's information that's going to help us when we come to answer the question. So looking at what it's asking us to do, Dimitri is going to ring Alan at 10 a.m. on Wednesday Athens time. What day and time will it be in New York when he rings? So that's what we're going to have a look at first, part A. So we know that our Athens time is going to be 10 a.m. and we want to work out what the New York time is going to be. So to work out what that is, we're going to need to work out the time difference between Athens and New York. And to work out the time difference, I'm going to take my larger time zone and subtract my smaller one from it. So my larger one is +2 being Athens, and I'm going to take away -5 being New York. So +2 minus -5 is going to be equal to 7 hours. And I know that because Athens is +2, it's going to be ahead of New York. So Athens is going to be 7 hours ahead of New York. So I can use that time difference to work out when it's 10 o'clock in Athens, what is the time going to be in New York. So I know that in Athens, it's going to be 10 a.m. So I can just use 10 as the time zone. And I want to work out the time in New York. So because we know Athens is 7 hours ahead, we can also say that New York is going to be 7 hours behind. So I can take off 7 from 10, and that leaves me with 3. And that's going to be the time in New York. So a value of 3 is going to be equal to 3 a.m. Now we haven't changed our day, so it's going to be 3 a.m. on the same day. So to answer the question, I can say, therefore, Dimitri will ring Alan at 3 a.m. on Wednesday, New York time. So moving on to part B, Alan is going to fly from New York to Athens. His flight is going to leave on Wednesday at 10 p.m. New York time, and is going to take 10 hours. What day and time will it be in Athens when he arrives? So from the first part of our calculation, we already know that Athens is 7 hours ahead of New York. So we can use that in this calculation. So he is leaving New York at 10 p.m. So we can go ahead and find out in Athens what time is his flight going to be leaving. If it's 10 p.m. in New York, so to convert 10 p.m. into 24-hour time, I'm going to plus 12 onto it. So in New York, it's going to be 22 hours on Wednesday. And then Athens is 7 hours ahead, so I'm going to plus 7 onto that to get the time in Athens. So the time in Athens is going to be 29.00. Because I've gone past 24, and that's how many hours I've got in the day, it indicates to me that there's been a change of day when I've added on that 7 hours. So to deal with that change of day, and to get a number back below 24, I'm going to take 24 away from 29, and that leaves me with 5. So a value of 5 is going to be equivalent to 5 a.m. And because Athens is ahead of New York, it's actually going to be 5 a.m. on the next day. And because we know that he left on Wednesday, it's going to be 5 a.m. on Thursday when the plane is taking off in Athens time. So now that I've got the time in Athens that the plane is leaving, I can go ahead and calculate the time in Athens that it's going to be arriving. So it's leaving at 5 a.m., so 5.00, and the flight time is going to be 10 hours. So I want to add on 10 hours onto that 5 a.m. Athens time, and that is going to get me to 1500 hours. So that is going to be 1500 hours. So I can see it's past 12, so it's going to be a PM time. And to work out what that PM time is going to be, I can subtract 12 from it. So that is going to be 3 p.m. So I can see the plane is going to arrive in Athens at 3 p.m. on Thursday. So finishing off by answering the question, therefore the plane will arrive in Athens on 3 p.m. Thursday. So that's an example of how I can solve problems involving different time zones and traveling.